Wow, that's annoying. What's going on, everybody? I would just, man, that's frustrating that does that. YouTube, bro. Well, that's that. I just canceled the agreement. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to maybe give it a few days before I send it over to him. But uh, what happened was what happened was there wasn't any spread on the deal. I came to learn. I connected with a realtor in the area today. Um, I'm gonna read you the email. So I had found what's up, Jared. God, the YouTube, bro. I just had the conversation with the seller, but what happens is I'll go live on YouTube and then I'll switch tabs, and then I will get back over to that. I'll come back over to YouTube after I get off my phone call, and then it's like still spinning the wheel saying going live, and then it'll go live. So just missed the whole conversation, but uh, yeah. So what happened was I ran into a the realtor who I was actually grateful to have connected with, um, uh, because she clearly does a lot of business in the area. She represented two of the comps that I was looking at, and I connected with her, and I was like, "Yeah, what's going on? Looks like you do a lot of business in the area. You want to take a look at this one?" She says, "Please do." And I said, "What's the best email?" And I said, "All right, just sent it over. Let me know what your thoughts are." She goes, so I sent her over my little marketing piece that I've been sending everybody with my recommended starting offer at 235. And she says, uh, "No way, Derek. I drive by this house several times a day. Your comps are in much better neighborhoods. You are the second realtor that has sent me this, again, because the first buyer uh, went under contract and marketed it around, right? Uh, and then ended up backing out with the seller. I would say between 190 to 200 max is what she said is what they would pay for it, her clients. There is a literal junkyard across the street from this. I have two clients, maybe three, willing to take it on, but the last agent could never get us in it as the tenants did not know the seller was selling. So are we able to see it with you?" And I was like, "Hey, wow, okay. I had no idea that this area was so much rougher than the area of those comps. Thanks for informing me. I'm glad to have connected with somebody who's intimately familiar with the market." I was like, "Yeah, I'm working to get, a time scheduled to get into the property. Let me know if there's any interest on your client's end, and I can round back with you to confirm the day and time." And then I was like, "You know what? There's two different routes that I can take with this. I can get somebody in there, have some people walk the property, have some people walk the property on Monday or Tuesday whenever it's scheduled, see what the highest offer I get is, and then go back and renegotiate with the seller." It sounds like they weren't going to come in over 200 anyways, though. So the second option I had was just go straight back to the seller right now and try to renegotiate the price as low as I can get it. And then I felt confident as long as I got it under 190 that I'd be able to get something in terms of an assignment. So I just called him right now. I don't, again, YouTube glitched out, so it didn't document it, but essentially said, "Hey, um, Smithville is definitely an area that is new to us. We do a lot of business in Houston, so we're not extremely familiar with it. We're learning every day the values of the area and the ins and outs of the market. Um, we've been recruiting the help of some realtors who do a lot of business in the area, and we've gotten some opinions on what they think it'll be able to sell for on the back end, um, and kind of just the values of the market as well, and what she's kind of showing me, and what I initially saw was some comparables that are further north than your property that sold for over 400. But it seems as if block by block, the further south you go, the prices drop off significantly. And then once you get south of the tracks there, it drops off like crazy, right? And me and him came to that agreement. He understood that, like, yeah, once you get south of those tracks, it's no good. But he definitely wasn't in agreement with me on the values of his property, obviously. But I let him know, with this new information, I don't, it makes a little bit more sense to me why. Um, yeah, Jared, exactly what I was getting ready to say. It makes sense to me why the last buyer backed out. I would imagine that they saw the values initially as I did, and thought that the 200 was going to work, and then learned what I learned, in that it's not really that valuable, right? Um, and I'd imagine that's why that they backed out. Uh, Now I don't want to leave you hanging. I definitely want to perform on my end, but I do want to let you know that we wouldn't be able to move forward at the 200 price that we initially agreed to. And without me even saying uh, what price I would need to be at, he said, "No, that's all right. I'll just end up hanging on to it, and I'll raise the rents, and I'll just hang on to it." And I said, "Okay, yeah. I mean, completely understand." And I kind of wanted to like reposition myself to at least make him that offer so that he can think about it, but he wasn't. He says 200 is my bottom line. Um, I was like, just so you know, I mean, I don't know if you recall, but before we entered into the agreement, we wanted to be around the 175 to 180 mark, and it seems as though that our initial assessment was correct, and that's pretty much where we need to be. And he says, "Okay, yeah, 200 is my bottom line. I'm just gonna hang on to it. I'll raise the rents for the people in there. I'm glad that I didn't, issue them any notice." I said, "Yeah, me too. Um, I'll go ahead and send you over the cancellation. I will keep you in mind with or I said, please do keep me in mind if in case anything ever changes. Uh, Now you know where we stand, and where we'll be able to perform at that kind of 175 to 180 range, and we'll be able to come with cash and offer you that simple, smooth transaction like you're looking for." And he says, "Yeah, same to you. If you ever, where I stand. If you ever feel like you can come upwards to the 200, um, please feel free to reach back out." So that's that. Damn, no wonder they backed out. Got to keep that in mind next time we get told someone backed out. Yeah, I know exactly. What's funny too is those. I saw the person. Uh, I saw their marketing. I saw them trying to dispo the deal. They were asking 215. I saw it because I started joining a bunch of these Austin investor groups, and then I started searching Smithville in these groups, and then I saw the same picture that the seller sent me. They were using to market the deal, and yeah, so it's pretty unfortunate, but yeah, you're right, Jared. I should have. That should have raised a red flag for me. I thought, well, yeah, I thought that the reason they backed out was because the seller wouldn't let them in. They couldn't gain access to the property. So I figured if I could overcome that, then I could get somebody in there in order to, for them to create a little bit of a spread there, right? I thought that was the reason. I thought that was the reason the other people backed out, was because the seller had his guard up like crazy and not letting anybody walk the property, which does seem to be the case, right? Again, if this email that I got, um, this email that I got says uh, the last person could never get us in the property. The tenants didn't know the seller was selling. So are we able to see it with you? Um, so it's a shitty feeling. Um, and I hassled my title company earlier, and they just sent me over everything. I mean, yeah, I feel bad, but damn. Sorry for the late response. Please see attached title commitment, tax certification, wiring instructions. I've also attached a seller information sheet. Please have them fill it out. It looks like we'll need a copy of the trust agreement. Please have the seller send that over as well. And she attached everything. She clearly spent time on this email and on the file. And now I'm just going to have to email her and say, um, sorry, it fell through. Oh yeah, so close also. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about it is had he just been a little flexible, then it would have worked, right? Had he even been willing to drop to like 190, I still would have been comfortable with sending people over there. But he would 200 is his bottom line, and he's not gonna budge off that at all. So next time for sure, everything is for us to learn. Now, time for massive lead gen. Yeah, I like where your head's at, Jared. I really do. Um, Man. Well, I'm glad that I'm documenting this for you guys. It's all in the game. All in the game. So yeah, I'm gonna hit it hard. Probably come Monday. Gotta figure out what I'm gonna have to do now. I just gotta take that. I gotta send him over the cancel it. Part of me almost wants to try to see it through, but there's no point really. Um, what was I gonna say? I was gonna so again, I was contemplating whether or not sending people out there to see where they were coming in with their offer before I went and renegotiated the price, or just doing it right now like I did. Um, but even if I did send people out there, like I said, she said 190 to 200. I bet you that she probably would have had her clients coming in lower than that, you know. But even if again, that's my max, 200. I'm just finding the deal and spending all my resources and money and energy on finding somebody else the deal, right? Um, so I mean, I got to do a lot of stuff now just to get this thing canceled. Um, Send seller cancel it. I mean, technically, I don't even need to do this, but I will. Send seller cancellation agreement. Um, Close escrow. Take down all marketing for dispo. Um, Let my partner know that canceled it. What else? I think that's probably it. Yeah. Yeah, that's a shame. So I need to send the seller the cancellation, close escrow, um, take down all the marketing, and let the partner know that it's canceled so he doesn't market it anymore either. It wasn't any bad blood though, which is like why it's so strange to me that he wasn't willing to budge a little bit. In the past, where I've tried to renegotiate price, people are at least willing to come down 5, 10,000. This guy's just he's not he's there's no motivation here. That's the problem. Um, and it's also like it sounds like he's selling it for what it's worth, right? You know how seasoned investors are. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The guy owns 30 properties. He's gonna what's why would he take a $25,000. It's not a loss, but why would he take $25,000 less than what it's worth? Because again, it sounds like he's asking for what it's worth. If this realtor's saying, 200 max, um, then it sounds like he's asking a reasonable price, but not for me as a wholesaler. Um, and maybe he's even asking a little bit too much. Sounds like 190. Sounds like 180 is more of an appropriate price where it's going to be an actual deal for somebody, especially with all the hoops that he's making people jump through, right? With the tenant and stuff. So again, no bad blood, no harm, no foul there. Well, there is some harm and foul. Again, I just feel really bad because I've wasted a lot of people's time. That's something that I'm needing to get over, and something that I've kind of been preaching all day in terms of thinking for somebody else. Um, I just feel bad that my title company spent a bunch of time. I feel bad that my partner allocated resources to try to get it sold. I feel bad that I spent so much time trying to get it sold. But I'm glad that I learned when I learned, and it could have gone much worse. I could have put up my earnest money, which is really my girl's money. She was getting ready to front me the money, um, to put up. I could have had her earnest money tied up in escrow, and he could have refused to sign the release, or it could have gotten tied up for however long it would have taken to for them to release it, or whatever the case may. Like, not saying that that was going to happen, but that's like worst case scenario. Um, you know, I knew it wasn't going to happen, which is why I felt comfortable. But it was a slim possibility that it got tied up for some time, and then she would have been without that money, or whatever the case was. I just feel bad. I don't feel like sorrow or sad that the deal fell through. I honestly could care less, because, like you're saying, Jared, I got plenty of leads in the pipeline. There's plenty more where that came from. I just hate feeling like uh, I'm the guy who is making everybody else like jump through hoops for me when I'm unable to perform. Right. So there's that. I'm gonna get back on the saddle, probably Monday, and do some lead gen. Do a lot of cold calling. If anything, this is gonna give me motivation. So I spent a lot more time on the dialer than usual. Just want to make sure again that I'm kind of taking note of everything that I need to do in order to kind of sever ties appropriately with everybody involved. Um, yeah. So appreciate you guys. Glad that you guys are here, kind of taking this journey with me. And I'm glad to be able to share this with you guys as well. Because as you guys know, as wholesalers, it's not all flowers and rainbows, right? So this is going to go down as my sixth contract and my fourth that fell through. So right now I'm 2 for 6. Jeez. Um, what is that? 33%? Is that what that is? 30, yeah, 33%. Sheesh. You need to get that up. That's why everyone isn't rich. That's a fact. That's a fact. You ever seen The Replacements, Jared? I just watched it recently. He says, forget what he says. some about how the game of football is hard, and they say that's why girls don't play. Not to say that girls have no place in football or wholesaling, but I just thought of that right now. You can rephrase that however you want, but it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, but it is for me. It is. It is for me because I know what it feels like to get that through to the finish line, and I cannot wait to get the next one through. So stay tuned. A lot more action to come. To be continued. Next one gonna be worth it. I know. That's why I thought this was gonna be the one that was gonna be worth it. Um, but yeah, yeah. I know some huge is on the horizon. I can feel it. And yeah, man. I mean, again, not to go crazy religious on you guys, but I truly do feel that my grandma always used to say, God always gives his toughest battles to or his hardest battles to his toughest soldiers. And I'm finding that to be the case, and I'm embracing myself as the tough soldier. Kind of like we're saying, it's not for everybody. Uh, if it was, then everybody would be rich. If it was for everybody, then everybody would do wholesaling. But nobody, it's very, very few. It takes a very specific type of person. And but yeah, even beyond wholesaling, I mean, I just feel like I'm not, I'm only sharing this. I'm not complaining because the I really am getting in that headspace every time something like this happens. It just reminds me more and more that something bigger is waiting for me, right? But so many things have just been not going my way, man. Like me getting sick, this deal falling through. I lost my license. I you know falling behind on my car payments and stuff. Like there's just so much going on, man. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's happening for a reason. I know it is, and I have full faith. So appreciate you guys again, and again, I really am glad that I'm documenting it the way that I am because you don't see this type of stuff on YouTube. I'll tell you that much. When I first got into the business, it is all what because we can handle it exactly. Uh, when I first got into it, when I first started educating myself, you know, it is roses and dandelions and flowers and rainbows. They don't tell you about this type of stuff. They don't, you know what I mean? They say how cool is it that you can get a contract and assign it for more money? You know what I mean? And you think to yourself, what? Hell yeah, I'm down for that. And then you have your first deal fall through, and you're like, oh, so like that's part of it too, you know. And that was something else. My partner here, Cody, the interview that I watched with him, how I learned about him in the first place when he was on Steve Trang's podcast. Him and his partner, I think, said something like or at the time, they had a contract to close ratio of like 40%, meaning that every 10 contracts they got, they only closed four of them. So, that's low, I think, and they knew that and they realized that in that moment as well because Steve Trang was like, "What? Like, what do you attribute that to?" And they were like, "Yeah, well, locking deals up too high, and title issues and tenant issues, and stuff happens, right?" So, um, that's a metric that gets lost in translation, I think. In terms of KPIs, you're always hearing, how many leads or how many calls do I have to make to get a lead? How many leads do I have to make to get a contract? And then for some reason, it kind of always stops there because again, the industry on YouTube is all glitz and glam, And it leads you to believe that all you have to do is get a contract and that 100% of the contracts you get are going to close, which isn't the case. So that was an eye opener to me when I watched their interview that they said they had about a 40% contract to close ratio. And I was like, oh, damn. At that point, I had already had like two deals fall through. So, I mean, at this point, I'm at 33% as a new wholesaler. So the only way to offset this is just to get more contracts, right? And the only way to get more contracts is to make more offers by getting more leads by doing more marketing. So uh, it's a simple fix. Now it's just a matter of putting in that effort. So um, this is lighting the fire under my ass. I'll tell you that much. I'm gonna go hard. I'm going hard. I know I've been saying that. That's something else too. I think that God is, again, I don't want to, whatever you want to, if you feel like you believe in some type of higher being, you know, I think that I think it came too easy. I think this deal fell in my lap and I wanted it to be easy. I wanted to see the numbers the way that I wanted to see them. I wanted that his initial asking price to be a home run deal. And I started to slack and thought to myself, all right, boom, got it. I'm the man. This fell in my lap, and so are the rest of the deals. They're going to fall in my lap. I don't even really need to worry about it, you know? And then and now I get kind of casted back down, slapped in the face. It's like, no, 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 Derek, you need to realize it's deeper than that. You can't just have these things fall into your lap, right? Not to say that I don't put in the effort, but I know that I can be doing more, and I know that it shouldn't be that easy, right? I looked at this deal like it was getting ready to be a home run, and then now in hindsight, I'm able to kind of reflect on it and realize, yeah, it was never going to be a deal to begin with, you know. And I can say that in confidence because the two deals that I have done were 20 times harder than this deal right here, um, easily 20 times. And again, this one fell in my lap. Not to say that deals aren't going to fall in your lap, but this one, there's something about it that was just kind of made me uneasy the whole time. And that's something to take moving forward as well. Like you kind of mentioned, Jared, like something to kind of raise a little antenna, a little red flag when people say certain things like, "Oh, last buyer backed out." Usually, I'm quick to ask, "Why do you think they backed out? Why wasn't your other buyer able to perform?" But I didn't even ask. For some reason, I f- I know now that I didn't ask because I didn't want the truth. I didn't want the answer, and um, I should have. I should have asked. I should have had that red flag be raised, and I should have known then that it wasn't what it appeared to be. Uh, but anyways, appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Hopefully, you are learning from this as well. Not only um, watching me and uh, sitting in my sorrow, but also taking some stuff away from this. Appreciate we can learn from your experience. See you Monday. I'll hit you on IG if anything. All right, Jared. Appreciate you. Yeah, exactly. Hopefully you guys are taking away from this. Learn from my mistakes. Not even, yeah, I did make some mistakes. I'm gonna own up to that. I think that there's definitely some stuff that I could have done differently. But if you don't earn, you learn. Remember that. Yo, sorry, just came in. What happened? Cool, dude. I'm gonna reiterate it real quick for you. I ended up connecting with a realtor in the area who does a lot of she has a lot of does a lot of activity in the market. She actually recommended the seller on a few of the comps that I was using, and I was grateful to have connected with her, thinking that she was going to be kind of my ticket. And then she replied saying, I sent her my marketing piece, saying, this is what I'm asking in terms of price. And she says, "No way, Derek. I drove by this house several times a day. I drive by this house several times a day. Your comps are in much better neighborhoods. You are the second person that sent me this. I would say that it's worth between 190 to 200. Again, I have it under contract at 200. There is a literal junkyard across the street from this. I have two clients, maybe three, willing to take it on, but the last person could never get us in since the tenants didn't know the seller was selling. Are we able to see it with you?" So I had two options. I could either send people out there, over the next couple days to try to uh, get a hard offer from them, or I could just go to the seller now and try to get it reduced. So that's the route that I took, and I'm glad that I did, because he was firm. He was like, "No, 200 is my bottom line. I can't go any lower than that." Uh, and I say that I'm glad I did it that way because I could have easily sent people out there and wasted a bunch of more people's time, and um, had them come in at like 190, 195. Even if they came in at 200, I would have been able to. I would have been able to at least have a hard number so that I would, let's say they came in at 200, exactly where I have the contract at, then I would have still had to go back to the seller, renegotiate on price, which he wouldn't have been willing to do. He's just not motivated. He's a seasoned investor. He has 30 properties. He's not motivated. So 200 was his bottom line. So I rounded back with him. Unfortunately, YouTube messed up and it didn't start the live until after the phone call. But I let them know, hey, I'm learning a little bit more about the market, got some opinions of some realtors, and it seems like we're not going to be able to perform at the 200. I don't want to back out like the last buyer. I want to help you out here, but we're going to have to be. We won't be able to move forward at 200. Was he a guy that's like you called me, tell me a price? No, no. This guy has been interested in selling. He actually replied via text to one of my text campaigns. Um, he's just to the numbers. And again, it sounds like his numbers are there. He's asking 200 and she's saying it's essentially worth 190 to 200. So it just doesn't work for me as a wholesaler is all. Um, you know, it sounds like he's asking an appropriate price, maybe slightly higher than what an appropriate price is. So I can't necessarily fault him. Um, I there's a lot of learning lessons here for me. I should have had my antenna up a little bit more. I should have. Um, it seemed too good to be true from the beginning, and now moving forward, I just need to kind of listen to my intuition. And if it's too good to be true, it always is. So, yeah, I'm gonna cancel this one. Cool dude. Um, I'm gonna get back on the saddle. I mean, he could potentially be buyer if he's an investor. What do you mean by that? Um, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Uh, just to clarify again, I have it under contract at 200. I've been, going crazy trying to find a buyer. This isn't the first person that said that my asking price was too high, but I was always operating under the assumption that all it takes is one buyer, right? But then I connected with this realtor who does a lot of activity in this area, and she's very familiar with the property. She tried to buy it from the last wholesaler, but they couldn't walk the property. And she was saying, I have some people that are interested in it, but they would be probably 190 to 200 max." So then I went back to the seller and said, "Hey, we can do it, but we have to do it less than 200." And he said 200 is my bottom line. I said, "Okay." There's no bad blood. Uh, you know, I said, if anything ever changes on your end and you feel like you're looking for that kind of quick sale, we can do it at around that 175 to 180. And he says, okay, same to you. If you ever think that you can come upwards of 200, let me know. I said, all right. So, anyways, I'm getting ready to hop off now. I'm probably just gonna wait to handle all this uh, till Monday, or maybe start sending this stuff off like Sunday night or something like that. But no, I don't want to do that. I just want to get rid of it. I don't want to be done with it. So I gotta send him over a cancellation agreement. I don't technically have to. I think the purchase agreement that we have is even void because I never even put up the earnest money. Um, and it specifically says in there, if I don't get it in there within 3 days, it's void. But I do need to reply back to my title company and let them know that we ended up canceling the agreement and to just close escrow. And then I got to go through and take down all my marketing on like Facebook and Craigslist and stuff like that. I have Craigslist up right now. I'm just going to go ahead and delete these. And then, I got to let my partner know that I canceled it as well. So, wish me luck on the next one. Appreciate you guys hopping in here. See you on Monday.